What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, a show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about idle champions and Dungeons and Dragons. And with me this week is the amazing Rhiannon Frost.
Woo! Hello!
Hello. I'm glad you added the woo because I always do that, and I feel like there should be like a candid audience like cheering button. So I'm glad that you added that for it.
Nice. No, I'm always happy to throw my arms in the air, like any opportunity. Let's go.
Rhiannon, if people don't know who are you for the fine folks who may not know?
Well, hello. I am Rhiannon Frost. I play Sentry in High Rollers D&D Erois. We're a UK-based D&D show.
Yeah. I'm sure many of the Idle Champions players watching this right now will recognize Sentry because the Rose was our first season that we did, and they were literally everywhere.
Yeah. The incredible skins have been so good.
So
love
cool.
them. So much fun. It's always so much fun working with you guys. Always a blast.
Oh, and there's a new skin to talk about that we'll get to later in the episode.
Ooh.
I do want to say before we get too far into the episode that this is pre-recorded. We are in the past. There is time manipulation happening. So there won't be any chance for questions today, but just hang out in the chat, chill, talk with people, have some fun. Yeah. But there will still be a giveaway, so keep an eye out for that. I don't know when it will be.
Secrets.
Ooh, yes, time secrets. Rhiannon, I want to start things off the way that I always like to start things off with folks when I haven't had an episode with them, which is, how'd you get into D&D?
Ooh, D&D is something that I'd always heard about as a kid, and I was big into fantasy growing up. Like Lord of the Rings was like the first big blockbuster film I ever went to go see.
Oh, jeez.
And like, I know, and like, just getting into fantasy as a young kid, I'd always like wanted to give D&D a go, but like where I grew up, it wasn't really a thing. Like a lot of people, like there weren't really any groups that sort of like in my like, in the middle of nowhere, small hometown that did it. It wasn't until I actually got to Bristol and I met the High Rollers folks and they invited me on the show. That was the first time I'd ever actually played D&D.
Oh my gosh.
After hearing about it for so long and being like desperate to like play it. Like,
and the first time was on camera.
Yeah, I know. But like I played like Neverwinter Nights and stuff when I was growing up, and
nice.
all those old games. I was like, oh man, like I just want to like do this with people, like for real, in a real space. And yeah, I was really lucky to fall into that group and get to do it for real. It's been so much fun.
Cool.
It's everything I'd ever thought it would be.
There's been several people that I've talked to on the show that like the first time they played was on camera, and I'm like, that is like I can't fathom that. Like the first time I played it was on my buddy's couch. We had like Cheetos and everything around it, and I can't imagine the first time being on camera because I had no idea what I was doing. Not a freaking clue.
We sort of treated it as like a learning experience where people could learn along with me and stuff. So people that were new to D&D could then like learn it through my eyes. It was really fun.
Oh, that's neat.
Sort of took the pressure off. It was nice.
Yeah, that is one thing that I do love though is seeing people experiencing the game for the first time. Like I used to run games for kids at a bookstore, and like some of them it was their first game. So watching people like go like, oh, I get this. I understand this now. It's so cool to see.
It's great.
And you have an actual visual record of your first time playing D&D.
That's
cool.
Wild. I didn't think of that before. Oh my god, yeah, it's like there. That's crazy.
you just do a scrapbook. It's like, all right, here's the first scene. All right, this is scene 4. I love that. That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
So in that well actually I'm gonna skip a question here. You mentioned the heroes of Erois there that you got that you were playing with them. Who are the heroes of Erois?
Okay, so we have my character Sentry, and then we have Lucius Virian Elwyn Elenasto, who's played by our friend Chris Trott.
I never heard the whole name.
Lucius Virian Elwyn Elenasto. It takes a lot of practice to say that correctly. And then we have Ayla, who's played by Katie, Nova Vija, who's played by Kim, and then we have Quill, who's played by Tom.
Yep, I love it.
Big group.
it's a good sized group. I like it.
Yeah.
You all got the like the hero look to the characters and everything like that. They
Mm.
look like a team that was meant to be.
Aw, that's really cool.
So who is Sentry?
Sentry's kind of like the big mum of the group. Like she loves looking after everybody. She's this big, like 7 foot tall, kind of like a Warforged-esque homebrew race called a Guardian. So she kind of looks quite formidable. She's all like decked out in like full plate armor. She has long vine hair, and she's quite like she's quite direct in her manner of speaking in a way, but she always emanates this aura of kindness, and she wants everybody to be at their best all the time, and she always wants to look after everybody. She's just this, yeah, this big huggable bear in full plate armor is how I think of her.
That's I love hearing that the mom of the group. That's so
Yeah.
good. Especially since they're a Warforged. Like that's my favorite thing too. It's just like, I am a robot. I don't know if I have motherly instincts, but I do.
Yeah. I will take care of these young adventurers. I will cherish them as if they were my own.
So squishy.
Exactly. I am not squishy, but you are, so I will look after you.
It's kind of wild doing this episode though, because Sentry actually came out like just when I was getting into Idle Champions, and so like they were one of the first couple of champions that I unlocked, so I have that memory of being like, I don't know who this is, but they're freaking cool.
Yes. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I mean it worked. All the abilities, the look and everything. I'm just like, I love this. This is a great character.
Aw, thanks. She's so cool. I love her.
So, how did you come up with Sentry? Like, this was your first game of D&D. What was the thought process that went into it?
It was sort of like me and Mark's sort of little mind meld. Mark's our DM, as we sort of mind melded on this idea, because I liked the idea of playing a construct, but I wanted to be like a Circle of the Moon druid construct.
Oh.
And Mark was like, that's too OP, because in their previous campaign, they had a Katie who played a Circle of the Moon druid elf, just could not be killed. Just like she was a tank. And Mark was like, I'm not doing that again. And like my idea, but my whole reasoning for it was because I was a construct, I wanted to be able to wild shape into a dinosaur and do the whole like Transformers.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Transformer.
Like,
got Grimlock as a D&D character.
I know. But I liked the construct sort of Transformers-esque idea. So then Mark came up with a Guardian race, which are very heavily Transformers inspired. They have like the Matrix in their chest, which is like the Allspark, and then like Sentry is like Optimus Prime now, and like she leads like the Guardian race, and like their catchphrase is like till all are one. So it's like this, it's incredible. It's like the coolest thing.
Okay, that doesn't, because I remember reading stuff through on Idle Champions, and I saw the Matrix thing, and I was just like, is that like,
Yeah.
Okay, so there it is.
So cool. Mark loves leading into all like my favorite like 80s 90s cartoon inspirations.
Oh, yeah.
Like whenever we chat about stuff, we're just like, oh, we have like the same taste in cartoons. It's so good. It's like, so much fun.
See, I love that because I usually describe my home game, my D&D game, as a Saturday morning cartoon. Like it is off the wall bonkers, and the players that play with me know that, and so they just do ridiculous things.
Yes. I'm here for ridiculous.
Actually, I just really you were talking about the 80s and 90s cartoon. I saw on your Twitter the Masters of the Universe figures.
Oh yes, I've got them on my desk right next to me here. I'm working on it. I'm working on my collection.
Is that the new He-Man one?
Yeah, Revelations.
Series? Yeah.
Woo! There he is.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Oh, they're all amazing.
I am also a action figure enthusiast, because I have Michelle Rodriguez from the new D&D movie on my desk right now.
Yes, that's so cool.
Mainly because I haven't found a place for her back with all of the Star Wars figures.
Oh, I feel that. I'm like, I need a storage cabinet or something to put these in. My desk is like just full. I'm like, oh
But
my god, I'm running out of space.
one of my friends has one of those like glass cases where it's just like the one
Yes.
column that goes up, and it's just full of extremely wild and unconnected anime characters, but it's not the ones chat that you're thinking of. But it's so juxtaposed with like the rest of his stuff. Like his table is like, it's like a piece of wood on top of two like sawhorses or something, but he has a really nice cabinet of action figures.
Awesome. Priorities. I get that. My sister has
Exactly.
like a glass case, and she's been collecting all like the X-Men figurines from like the 90s and stuff, and she has all like the Phoenix and Jean Grey stuff, and
That's
like
cool.
oh, I look at that cabinet, I'm like so jealous. I'm just like, dude, this is awesome.
That's one of those times where I'm like, man, if I was a kid, I would be breaking into that right now.
I know. Oh my god. Oh.
So wait, that was a tangent, and I apologize to chat, but hey, it's action figures. Gotta talk about it. Come on now.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, what you said that Sentry is the mom of the group. How does that relationship play out with the rest of the party? Like, how did she just come in and be like, I'm mom, deal with it, or was it kind of an evolving thing?
It's kind of a mixture of both. In Sentry's backstory, she like used to be sort of like a caretaker for a young princess, and then as the story's gone on, like she's kind of like this fish out of water character who got words.
Words are difficult. Trust me, I know.
They are. She got basically thrown into the situation where she ended up sleeping for 500 years and then reawakening in the current Erois. So that sort of mum, she's been sort of desperate to, I guess, hold on to that mum like guardianship that she has. Like she loves looking after people, and as the campaign's gone on and like she's got closer and closer to the party, they're almost kind of like her new family now, and she's sort of taken them under her wing and like just protects them like her children. Like she's a big mama goose, like the little goslings. Let's go, children.
Just protection vines. It's like, we're fine.
Exactly. That's kind of her whole deal. Like she just loves it.
That's fantastic. So what, like, I don't, is Heroes of Erosa, is that still going?
Yes.
It's still an ongoing one. So y'all have been playing for a bit, because I think when I looked up the videos, it was 4 years ago that y'all started.
We're in our 5th year this year.
That is so cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really, really cool.
It's wild. So wild.
Oh, I bet. So what is Sentry's arc been like from like the beginning to now?
The beginning was like really sad because a lot of it was Sentry discovering that like the life she used to have sort of no longer exists, and like
that was when
home,
she woke up from the 500 years. Oh wow.
So her home has been destroyed, like all the people she cared for are gone, and like it was just really sad, like having her navigate this new world and be a stranger to everything and having to learn everything all over again. But then as the campaign went on, she sort of managed to mend those wounds, find new friends, and maybe some old ones as well. Maybe came back. Spoilers, maybe. But it's been quite emotional in some aspects as well, because obviously, like with having the pandemic and stuff, like it's like having that distance from friends as well was like a really like deep connecting point with like me and Sentry. Like I really felt like I could relate to her during those couple of years. That was really like, it just like brought me really close to her as a character.
That makes sense.
And then sort of like feeling like being in this new world and this like new place where no one really knows what's happening, and like it was like really intense.
There were a few years that did feel like a fever dream. So
oh my god, yeah, 100%. But now she's sort of emerged from that quite strong, like physically and mentally, a lot stronger than she was, and she's sort of realizing her new purpose and how to overcome her initial fears, and yeah, just be an absolute tank. Like she is just unstoppable at the moment.
See now knowing though that so much of Transformers was based on I'm genuinely hoping one day she gets to turn into a literal tank.
Go full Megatron.
Yeah, full Megatron. Oh look, is that the big bad evil guy? Oh,
One
I love
shall
that.
Stand.
None
One
shall
shall fall. Love it.
I didn't buy those Magic the Gathering Secret Lair Transformers cards. No, I didn't do that at all.
I missed those. Oh!
I even got the booster packs for I can't remember what set it was that had it, and I pulled Optimus Prime, and
the dream.
I made noises that concerned my wife in the other room. And
understandable.
I was just like, I'm gonna build an Optimus Prime deck. She's like, that's nice, sweetie. I'm gonna go back to Sims.
Optimus Prime deck. Oh my god.
I know. I gotta do
it. That'd be amazing.
So now Sentry has found their way into Idle Champions Presents. Yeah. How has that been going?
So much fun. B. Dave Walters is just he's great. he's so fun. Like the situations he comes up with, I'm just like, oh my god, like in the best way. Just mind-blowing. It's so good. But it's been an absolute ride. We've only done we've done 2 episodes of 6 so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here already. It's just a whirlwind. An absolute whirlwind of skeletons, which I love. It's another thing about Sentry. Sentry doesn't like necromancy, but I love that stuff. So it's so hard to be like, I hate this. I really don't like this as a character, but Rhiannon is like living. I'm living for this energy. Like Kryn, hello? I want to live there. I want to be there.
Oh,
so cool.
Then I'm sure Mark's character is definitely a cool one in your head.
So cool. So cool. Which is, again, is hard because Mark's character is cool, but Sentry's meant to not like them. The dichotomy of being a paladin. So difficult. But everybody's characters are so fun. They're just like such a fun group, honestly. I'm gonna be sad when it's over. I don't want it to end.
That is the usual feelings that people talk about for Idle Champions Presents, where it's just like it's this really cool, awesome thing. It's that crossover event, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's that one where it's like, oh, I don't going back to Saturday morning cartoons. I don't want the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers to have to go back to their own shows. I want them to stay together forever.
Yeah. It's so nice. It's so nice playing with people that are like, obviously because we're all a UK based team this time, apart from like B. Dave and Gabe. So it's been nice just playing with people that I've not played with before, because my main team is sort of like the High Rollers guys.
Yeah.
So it's just been nice to experience a different group as well, and just learn about different people's play styles and learn about characters that I've heard about and like seen on like socials and stuff, but like not actually interacted with myself. It's been really fun.
That is kind of so this is the first time. Is this the first time you've played Sentry in a non High Rollers game?
I think it is, yeah.
Oh, and then you got put in one with Marilyn and Rust.
And Rust.
Oh, I love that so much.
Rust and Marilyn are just like my BFFs forever. I love them both. They're so good.
The Oxventures were characters that I did not know about before starting working here. Like I knew of Outside Xbox and everything, and learning about their characters through doing this, like Ellen Rose was like one of the first interviews I did on the show. I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all did what? To who?
It's so good. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So well, I do want to go like into a bit of spoilers here, because honestly, folks, if you're watching the show right now and you haven't been keeping up on Idle Champions Presents, what are you doing? I mean, come on, they're on the YouTube. I'm sure there's gonna be a link at some point, because I said YouTube. Usually a link shows up then. So
Come on over.
I want to ask, like, what so far has happened in Idle Champions Presents?
All right.
Well, we can do this from a Sentry standpoint. We're not gonna do like
Okay.
the whole crew.
All right. So from Sentry's standpoint, she's had a call from Root, who is like her leader of the previous leader of the Guardian race, who sort of lives within the Matrix now. Root contacts Sentry and tells her that there's a Guardian out in astral space that she needs to retrieve back to Erois. So Sentry travels through the Matrix to where this other Guardian is to try and bring them back, sort of like take over their body and then bring them back that way.
That's just a cool
Sentry...
sentence, by the way. Travel through the Matrix.
Through this sea of eternity, just off you go.
Cool.
It's great. I love it. And so she wakes up in this new Guardian's body in front of a tabaxi man and a wood elf on a spelljammer, freaks out. The spelljammer crashes into Xanathar and then and then crash lands on Kryn, dismantling a tower, which then unleashes an undead army being led by Soft.
No big deal.
Big man Soft rocks up and he's like, hey, what are you doing?
Soft. I'm never gonna not be able to think about that every time I see Lord Soft now. It's big man Soft right there.
It's just big man Soft just chilling out. It's no biggie. And then we meet Solak, who's Gabe Hicks' character, and then Miria, who's Mark's character, they who live on Kryn. And then we just like, we gotta go. There's like hordes of undead just running at us. It's time to go. So the party find a safe place at Solak's headquarters. They've just been resting, just trying to get their stuff together, trying to find out what's going on. And then Solak has a little dream visit with everybody. Has a little nighttime hello, how you doing? And then...
oh, that's right, because they're Kalishtar. That's right. Okay.
And then now they've just gone off to go and rescue a settlement that's come under attack by Soft's army. So we're gonna go save those guys. That's pretty much.
Do that hero thing.
Gotta go do the hero thing.
At the beginning of what you were talking about, though, that where the Root was talking to you through the Matrix, Mark took over that part, which I thought was really, really, really cool to see. Like the B-Dave's DMing, but like Mark is like, nope, this is my area. I got this one. I actually really enjoy that sort of thing where it's like there's a tag team of DMs in a group taking over stuff. I think that's such a neat way to do it.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I just love like whenever Mark does the Root voice. I'm just like, I'm home. Yes.
That now knowing the Transformers thing, that does definitely make sense with the voice that Mark does for it.
Yes. It's so good.
Oh boy. Yeah, and so what does Sentry think of this group so far?
Yeah. At the moment, I think she's kind of 50-50 about Miria. I think Miria's kind of on her radar, but she wants to help everybody. So she's just sort of figuring stuff out at the moment. I think she's hit a point of understanding with Solak, because Solak's a knight and their causes are kind of very similar in like their ways of understanding. So like Sentry's picks up on like Solak's whole vibe quite well. Rust is just adorable, so Sentry just loves him immediately because he's a tabaxi man. Like, how can you not?
With a French accent, only ever needs one gold piece.
So good, so good. And then Merylwyn, because Merylwyn and Sentry also understand nature quite well, so I think there's a common understanding there between the two of them. So I think I can imagine them getting along quite well as well. It'd be really fun to see where that goes.
Sentry and Merylwyn, the adventures begin.
Woo! Jump in the air, freeze frame. Da, 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 da.
Get the full Saturday morning cartoon experience. It just freeze frames, and then there's an after school special message. Don't do drugs, kids. You heard it here from Sentry and Merylwyn. See, dang it! Now I'm like, oh, I want to see like a 80s 90s cartoon style drawing of this group. Like,
Oh,
don't get
that
me
would be
wrong, Luke
amazing.
McKay does incredible work with
He
the
does.
posters and everything, but
Mm.
you know, that style would be interesting.
That would be that would be awesome. Like Captain Planet style, like, oh,
And I just
so
realized
good.
that's not out of the realm possibility, because I don't know if you know this, we did action figure skins for a few champions recently.
Cool.
When we brought Warduke to the game, you know,
Mm.
the old Dungeons and Dragons action figures are kind of like a
Yeah.
mainstay in a lot of people's memories from that era, and so we made a action figure Warduke skin where like we locked up the elbows and knee joints, and so they just
That's
across the
awesome.
screen.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that was one of the more unique ones that I've seen this team do.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
and then they came to me, they're like, "Hey, can you run a game that day and make it around action figures?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes." I've only been preparing for this my whole life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was one fun game. I
Oh.
had the like the last room was essentially a giant creepy crawlers machine that gummy monsters were coming out of.
Yes. Yes. That's incredible.
I love the look there. It's just like I'm nostalgic for that. I love that.
My childhood is just like,
Childhood right
yeah,
there.
yes.
Well, and that was the ironic thing for me. I didn't get to have one of those when I was a kid. I didn't have the
No,
creepy crawlers
me
oven.
neither. Like you see him on TV and you're like, oh, yes.
I have this like distinct memory of being in a Toys R Us and holding it up to my grandfather and him looking at it and go, absolutely not. Not a chance.
No.
It's like, that looks like ooze, and that's not going near
Nope.
the carpeting of my house.
90s and ooze was like, oh my god.
Oh god, it was everywhere. Like, why
Yeah,
was it
everyone loved it.
everywhere? They're like, kids like gross ooze stuff. Like, let's just put it everywhere.
And like stuff that smells bad as well. Like the oh, what are they called? The scratch and sniff cards.
Yes.
Do you ever have those?
Yep.
Oh my god, they were awful. But like, kids loved them.
No,
They smell
I'm realizing
so
there was
bad.
also a trend of like smelling stuff. It's like, here's a marker, stick it in your nose, and it smells like chocolate.
I have them.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You got the scented marker?
I literally have
Yes.
scented gel pens.
That is fantastic. There's no way I could have planned for that at all. Oh my god. And they're gel pens too. Just like bringing in that early 2000s. Oh my god.
I do all my D&D notes with them.
Are you serious? Man, that's incredible. Oh my, well, as the kid who, with a gold gel pen every day before school, would draw a Triforce on the back of his hand,
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Okay, well, I wanted to talk about Sentry's new look, the new skin for Al Champions Presents.
Yes.
What's going on there?
Oh, just all the cool stuff. Just everything
just
cool.
You know, everything cool.
Everything cool. Sentry, but in like full heavy metal plate armor with rose engraved all over him, like vines, the whole lot. Oh, it's gorgeous. The helmet though. The helmet is like the best bit. She has like this full face helm with these two great big dragon horns coming out of the top.
It really sells the dragon lance.
So good.
Yeah.
So cool. I love it. It's probably my favorite skin so far.
So
Hundo P.
You said that this is a different Guardian though. So like this is a different form completely from Sentry?
So when Sentry takes over the Guardian, like the Guardian's form sort of morphed like into a Sentry-esque kind of form. But yeah. So it's still kind of Sentry-ish.
It's so bad that the Transformers reference is helping me understand this. I'm like, oh, okay, no, that makes sense. Like they would just yeah, okay. Yeah.
The whole thing. So good. Oh, love it.
So what I know that the content creators like have input and stuff. Like, was there anything that you wanted to make sure was in there, or did they just kind of send you one? You're like, boom.
Pretty much, they was like, here's a Dragonlance Sentry, and I'm like, nailed it, 100%. Don't change a thing. She's perfect.
I love that so much.
So good. Like, I think the Idle Champs guys know me pretty well at this point. I think they're like, we know what you like.
Oh, that's right. Sentry has had some really badass skins. I just remembered that. Yeah, there's the one that I like to call the swole one.
Yes, the prime one where she's just like,
yeah,
just ready to go.
Oh, see,
Love
now
that
I
one.
get that with the trans. It was right there, and I missed it. I feel so foolish.
That's all good. It's those things that you like, and unless you know what it is, like you know.
And,
you know?
and I feel like that's the perfect reference, though, right?
Yeah.
Like once you hear it, you're like, got it. I understand everything now.
Everything makes sense.
Yes. I see the Matrix. So with you were talking about B-Dave being the DM and everything like that, and B-Dave has kind of shown through all of these Idle Champions presents, it's very hard to expect what that man is going to do, because a lot of stuff comes out of left field.
Yeah.
But like, what do you kind of like? Do you have any kind of expectations in your head of where this might go or what you might see in this?
No idea. No idea. Like, I was tempted to sort of read up a bit on Dragonlance beforehand, just so I had like a rough idea, but I was like, nah, like let's go into this blind. Let's really just dive into
get
it
the
like
Sentry
Sentry
experience.
Exactly, yeah. Hundo P. And I love it. Like, I now know 2 DMs who can make Hadar absolutely terrifying, which is amazing.
I will tell you this, as someone who has listened to a lot of B-Dave's games, that man can make a lot of characters absolutely terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like
oh my god.
He's done the Raven Queen before as just like this person in a mask that says nothing and is just one of the most intense characters I've seen in an actual play.
I love that.
Yeah. And
oh my god.
No words. Nothing is said. It's great.
That's awesome. Oh my god, I'm just imagining that now. Jesus Christ.
And of course I will say this for you, chat. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. They don't tell me stuff about that. That is all hush hush. But like, this is Dragonlance, and there is a Tiamat like entity in Dragonlance, and I will tell you this: B-Dave loves Tiamat like a lot.
I love Tiamat. Baldur's Gate, get me in that.
Oh god. Actually, I have the giant figure that WizKids did. That
so good.
That was like one of the most, like, I said out loud, I know this is a stupid money decision, but I'm making it.
That means it's only gonna be good, right? Like, if you haven't had a thought, it's gonna be good, right?
The thing is that I haven't had an in-person game in 3 years or so, and I still haven't gotten to use it. I just want to kill players with it. Player characters.
Yeah.
Granted, that thing is heavy enough that it could probably hurt someone.
Could imagine.
But yeah, so there's a chance that maybe a 5-headed dragon of some sort may appear at some time. Would that be something that Sentry's like, I'm gonna fight that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Sentry's gonna go all in on that. That's gonna be great.
I don't know why I always find people's enthusiasm of fighting Tiamat like my favorite thing, because like, we all know Tiamat is terrifying. The stats are terrible. It was like, but I want to fight it. Like,
I want to be the one, like Tiamat's got rid of so many enemies, right? Like, surely I could be the one to take her down. I'll have the glory. Surely.
And what I mentioned earlier that I ran games for kids at at a bookstore. The first time I ran it, long story short, Tiamat was there at the end, and I was like, okay, all these kids are gonna get one round to do something against Tiamat, and then it's just it's a illusionary TPK. But so I was like, okay, what do you all do? And there was this one kid sitting right next to me, and he was playing a monk, and he sits there and he thinks, he goes, I'm gonna go punch her. I'm like,
yes.
You're going to run up to Tiamat, the god of dragons, and punch her in one of her 5 faces. And he goes, yes. I went, beautiful, do it. So he runs up there, rolls a d20, nat 20, and I lost it. I'm like, let it be known, this kid, nat 20 Tiamat as a monk with his fists.
I love this kid.
And then, of course, just, 93 damage to everybody and all that fun stuff.
So good. That's incredible.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
We're getting towards the end of this episode. Are there any last thoughts you want to talk about for Isle Champions Presents? Anything you want people to look out for?
Just I guess the High Rollers D&D. Just look out for us. It's where we are on Twitch, High Rollers D&D, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. It's where I'm at most of the time.
And where can they find you on the interwebs?
I am on Twitter, so I am @refrost_. That's where I usually hang out until that website goes down and then we move somewhere else.
Could be any day now.
Could be any day.
I've literally thought, I'm like, how long until these outros sound weird because we're plugging Twitter?
That's literally where I am. But yeah, thanks to you guys for having me on. And
yeah. I mean, this is something that we have wanted to do for a while because we've had folks from UK players for Isle Champions be like, it'd be awesome if we had something for UK audience and stuff. So like this was the culmination of that, and we're so freaking happy to have all of you on for this.
It's been a blast. I can assure you, it's been nothing but a pure joy.
Pure awesome joy. Yeah, if you're watching this right now and you haven't seen this iteration of Isle Champions Presents, I highly recommend it. It has been it's been so cool to watch these groups. Because again, like I was saying, like the crossover thing, I love seeing that stuff.
So good.
Because like there's something with group like players coming together with new characters, like that's one thing, but when it's the characters that they know, that they love, that they have experiences with, there's so much more to it.
Exactly.
And so yeah, we got let's see, as of this one, we got 4 more episodes after this.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens on Kryn.
Still lots to do.
Plenty more undead for Sentry to hate and Rhiannon to love.
Yes.
So yeah, be sure to catch new episodes of Isle Champions Presents Fury of the Black Rose Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific and at a more reasonable time for everyone in the UK. But we also do a rebroadcast at 4 p.m. Pacific, so if you missed the live one, you can grab that one. But I will say, you definitely want to be in the chat for the live one because there are some incredible giveaways. This one I do know about. And you want to be there. It's really good.
Do it.
I'm not making promises or anything like that. But the last Isle Champions Presents we did, like I think the last one was like, we gave away almost like every WizKids Spelljammer figure, and then if you weren't in the United States or Canada, excluding Quebec, you know what you did. If you weren't there, the digital prize was like literally everything we had in the store. Like, we did big. So like, stick around. We'll see what we got up our sleeves for this one. So be sure to watch that. Be sure to follow Rhiannon on Twitter and all of the fun social spaces, and check out High Rollers itself as well. See where the story began. But that is gonna do it for this week's episode of Idle Insight. So until next week, take care of yourself.